Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's Stallions Run. I'm, of course, your host, Buck. And let's go and get right into it with that win over the Maulers. We have a very interesting game coming up against the Gamblers, and just a lot to kind of look at. Also, potential returns for the Stallions to go along with that, also. I mean, kind of a jam packed episode we have here. So let's get straight into it with a recap of yesterday. Excuse me, not yesterday's. I'm still thinking, I have Monday on my brain, but Sunday's game, the last game of the week in the USFL schedule against Pittsburgh. Now, a very, very close one. I think people thought that the Pittsburgh defense would provide a tight kind of cover for Pittsburgh, but I don't think anyone thought it would be this close. I kind of predicted it would be about 10-point difference. Ended up being a 4-point difference, just to kind of show like how close again this game was. The Pittsburgh offense randomly decided to get hot. The Birmingham Stallions offense randomly got hot, then cold, then hot again towards the end. And both defenses were basically trying to save the other one's game. Basically, I think we can all agree as Stallions fans, defense kept us in a majority of the game. Especially that second half. Again, Muller's offense should 100% be applauded. They came in, they were looking to basically kind of maybe put the Stallions down for the rest of the season. I mean, going in right now, potentially being 2-2, especially with a South Division that's getting really interesting really fast, that would be very concerning to me. So now we're seeing, Birmingham's now 3-1. They're going to face a 2-2 Houston. And then now you have the Showboats getting your first win. Not as concerning, but still, we have that leap an advantage when it comes to that second seed spot. Breakers, of course, did win, so that doesn't help things. Still, let's go again. Kind of the player of the game, Deon Cain, 100%, in my opinion, is the player of the game for Birmingham. He basically, when the Stallions were down, they were having they punt. They had to punt. Pittsburgh comes in. Pittsburgh then punts. The Stallions needed a mood changer. They needed something, a big play that said, okay, the motivation is back. We have something going here. We just have to find that. And then there it is. Deon Cain comes in, return TD all the way to the back of the house for, it wasn't exactly a game sealing TD, but he was able to go in and get that lead for the Stallions when they needed it most. Another player that should be looked at very well, Alex McGough. Dude, went in, had some bad throws. He kind of understood the assignment, got back out there, had a great rest of the game. So those are kind of my two players when it's like, okay, look at what the Stallions have done against, Pittsburgh, a team that's basically relied on their defense for the majority of the time. Yes, they do. Their offense is now starting to chug along a little bit, and that's something that we'll kind of have to see as time goes on. Luckily, we don't have to play this team again, but still, Pittsburgh's in an interesting situation. And while this loss hurts, still interested to see what happens in the forefront. But though there was some news before we talk about Houston, some things that could be a factor. Joe Jackson and then JoJo Tillery should be back for the game. During the press conference, Coach Holtz announced that they will likely be returning for this Saturday's game against Houston back in Birmingham. Those are two big names for the defense and two names the defense really needed. It feels like, again, you had God Scooby back. Unfortunately, there's been some offensive outs that are not going to be coming back. Jamar Smith is one. Bosco Barrow is kind of sitting right there where no one really knows the entire scenario. A couple big names that when the Stallions are going to be able to bring back this Saturday, they could potentially be huge, and they could be, possibly some game changers that could really help out, especially with a game against New Orleans very soon. A good rematch that should be expected. But let's talk about Houston because they're up this week. So Houston didn't do so good the first two games of the year. You had that, the week one game against Michigan, not great. Then you had the week 2 game, and I got to mention to see this one in person. They were playing in Birmingham against New Orleans. Very good game, kept it close. Everyone thought, okay, the pieces are starting to get put together. Let's see what we have here. potentially, hey, maybe we got something. But then they managed to get wins against Memphis, week 3, kind of the controversial ending with Todd Haley going out there. And then they go out and win against Philadelphia. Again, 2 lowest teams in the USFL, but they're big wins. So Houston's a team that's hot. They're on a 2-game winning streak, and people should be taking care and noticing about them. Mark Thompson, I mean, there's a potential. West Hill, best RB in the league right now. No one can dispute that. But Mark Thompson seems to be willing to come for that spot. And that's very concerning because the Stallions, their rushing defense is not world class at the moment. So that's something where I'm like, please maybe have some changes, please, a little bit. Just kind of hold off a little bit. That's all I'm saying. Otherwise, though, the Gamblers, their offense, very good. Their defense, it needs a little work. They're having some issues where basically it feels like you can kind of get like stuff past them where you kind of don't expect that. So, like, let's say you manage to stop the Gamblers defense. You manage to stop this team for 2 downs, and then they would let a third and 5 happen. So that's something where maybe the Stallions can take advantage of that, where the Gamblers defense will kind of let their foot off the gas a little bit on plays, and that's again game changing. So that's something that the Stallions should be looking for. Otherwise, though, I gotta go with the Stallions on this one. Again, I think this is going to be not as close as last week's game. I'm going to still stick with that kind of 10-point difference. I think of field goal and a touchdown is going to be kind of your idea with these Stallions at the moment when it comes to their wins. But here's the problem: I don't want to see Houston get momentum during this game. The Stallions need to kind of keep things right where they are. So basically, from the beginning, you basically try to drive these Gamblers into the ground. That's basically would be my game plan if I'm Coach Holtz. I'm going, okay, just keep grinding them, grind them down. That's what's going to have us get a win here in this scenario. So, interesting game up ahead, especially for the South, because Houston's looking at that 2nd seed like it's wide open. So, if I'm the Stallions, you got to find a way to stop that, kind of idea. Stomp it out real quick, real fast. All right. I've been Buck. It's been great talking to you guys. I'm excited for this Saturday. Big game. Like I said, this could be, the difference of a 2nd seed. So it's something we got to watch out for with this Saturday's game. Going to be make sure I grab the right time, 3 p.m. at Fox. Of course, if you're in Birmingham, try to go to Protective Stadium. 3 home games left for the rest of the season. So go to every one that you can. All right.